being better at whatever it is that your main skill is going to be important for you and of course the clients that you work with. Now, the first thing that you need to know and understand is the learning process. Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal set at this video is to walk you through the process of how you can learn anything as a virtual assistant. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own virtual assistant outsourcing company in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, when it comes to learning new skills as a virtual assistant, whether this is your first time being a virtual assistant or you just got a new client, it's really essential that you have some sort of system where you can write things down so it's easy for you to look them up later on. It's also really important to understand what goes into learning a new skill. Now, I've talked about before the importance of growing yourself as a virtual assistant because this is just one of the top ways that you can just be on the skills that you're growing to be able to charge more with your client or work with better clients as well. Being better at whatever it is that your main skill is going to be important for you and of course the clients that you work with. Now, the first thing that you need to know and understand is the learning process. Whenever you're learning something new or you're even just upgrading your own skill, usually you go through 4 stages. Now, this is coming from an audio that I learned like years ago from a guy named Kevin Trudeau, and you guys can look it up. It's called Your Wish is Your Command, but it teaches the 4 stages of learning any skill. The first one is unconscious incompetence. This is when you don't know what you don't know. You don't know that you had to be really good at making sure that the fonts are the same when you're creating a graphic. You didn't know how to create a social media post because that's, again, unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. You're incompetent at something, but you don't know what that is. That's the first stage. That's where everyone starts. It's the same thing for me when I started doing these YouTube videos, is I didn't know how to do YouTube videos. Then you move into conscious incompetence. This is when you know what you don't know. You're now aware of like, oh yeah, I had to be good at this part. Or, oh yeah, this is something that I will need to improve or learn more about. This is, again, that part where, for example, for me, again, going back to when I was learning how to do YouTube videos, I was like, oh, I suck at this thing. So it's when, again, you are now aware of the thing that you need to be better at. The next stage is conscious competence. Now, this is when you are aware that you're actually getting better at this thing. This is when you're aware that you are getting better at speaking, at doing this graphic, of creating this social media post, but you still have to have this mental checklist in your head of making sure that this is the thing that you are doing. Basically, you also have created a standard approved procedure for yourself so you can check things off before you actually send it off to someone. So this is conscious competence. You are aware of what it is that you need to know and you're actually getting better or you're good at it. The last stage is unconscious competence. So this is where you just are automatically doing things. This is when you don't even have to think about it. You know the system, you have the framework in your head, and it's just easy for you to dive into doing that task. So for example, for me, I'm very much in that stage of unconscious competence when it comes to making these YouTube videos. I don't have to write a whole script. I just have bullet points. I sometimes don't even need the bullet points when I have like a few things that I can bring up during a video. So I've gotten to that point. But I remember when I first doing YouTube videos that I really wrote down what I wanted to say. So everyone goes through this whole process, and I really wanted to make it a point the first part of this video to talk about it, because then it'll help you as you go along. That even though right now you might suck at that one thing, but as long as you keep working on it, you will get to the point where it's going to be so much easier for you to do this one thing. Next thing that you need to know is learning the type of learner you are. So some people will say, oh, I'm a visual learner, so you are someone who really thrives well when it comes to doing, video courses. Some people are more of a reader. That's where I slot in. I could go through 10 YouTube videos and not really have anything retained, but if I just read an article about the thing that I'm trying to learn, I will retain it forever and I'll make notes out of it. I'll take action on it. So it really depends on what kind of learner you are. There's typically 5, and this is coming from the book Managing Oneself. So there is you're a visual learner, so you learn through videos. There is someone who is reader, like I am. There's also people who learn by talking, so they're able to process things by speaking them out loud, by teaching them to someone else. Of course, there's people who learn by writing, by actually making down notes, making out plans. And the last type of learner is by doing. You actually learn by researching. You learn by testing something out. Oh, it blew up. this is the next thing I'm doing. So you could be a combo of one or two of this, or even three, but you need to learn what is the main way that you learn. So for example, like I said, I am more of a reader when it comes to me absorbing information. So I started with like thinking, okay, I can do, learning through video, but it turns out, no, I have to read it first, and then if I need more information, I can do video. So it's essential that you learn this, because you don't have to spend so much time, so much effort trying to learn something, but it actually does not match with the way that you learn. You don't want to be spending a lot of money on video courses if it's not actually aligned to what it is that you want to learn, versus if you just got a book about it, then you can learn faster. Next is, now that you have the understanding of the learning process and the type of learner that you are, then it's now going to the skills that you're about to learn. So if this is your first time being your virtual assistant, you want to narrow down what kind of virtual assistant you want to be. Now I have a lot of videos on this channel. You guys can just literally look it up on different virtual assistant skills and different types of virtual assistants, but you want to make sure that you find out, at least have a starting point of where you want to be as a virtual assistant. Are you going to be more of an admin virtual assistant, a social media or a content virtual assistant? Are you going to be more of a technical assistant? So you want to choose what field you want to start at. It doesn't have to be forever where you're going to be, but have a starting point, so then it's easy for you to narrow down what skills you will need to learn. So once you have that, the type of assistant you want to be, then you want to go ahead and assess your current skills. So if you chose to be a content or a social media assistant, then if you've had experience before in creating graphics, in writing, that's why you want to look up what kind of assistant you can be, so then you can be more specific with the skills that you already have and the skills that you want to improve. And let's say you have a client, you've just started with a client, what are the list of tasks that they are hoping that you would get to? And you can go ahead and basically rank yourself on how well you learn this skill, or how much you suck at it. You can use, conscious competence, all of that to rate yourself. But then you want to look at this list and see, okay, what are the tasks or the skill that I want to prioritize learning? So you want to start off with 3 at least, so then you can start going through them step by step. Once you have the skill or the task that you want to be better at, then the next thing that I really advise that you do is to have a good learning or note-taking system. So this is going to be very essential, and this is going to be coming from a lot of different books and courses that I've studied myself. But the 3 main things that you need to have for this learning or note-taking system is a way that you can capture, file, and take action. So these are the 3 things that you need to have in your note-taking system. You need to have a way that you can capture information. So this could be creating a Notion page, for example, and I've used Notion as an example before just because it's what I use for capturing all of my information. There should be a way that you can file them, that you can make sure that's easily searchable later on, and you can also take action on it easily. So this is something that I really teach a lot of our assistants in 2XU, is that you need to be able to take action on the things that you're learning. So how are you able to do that? So having that system where you can capture things, you can categorize them, you can put in a hashtag or some sort of way that you can find them later on, putting it into just one file where you can easily look through your notes and be able to grab to know what are the things that I now will be doing moving forward as I've learned this course. It's going to be important for you to be able to look back later on of like, okay, when did I make this change of using just this kind of font as an example? You need to have a way that makes sense for you on your system on taking notes. So you could be using tools like Notion, Evernote. You can use just physical notes, although it will be harder for you later on to use these physical notes as you're searching and finding information that you will use for your work. Next thing they can do is then start looking for mentors. Look for people who are really good at what it is that they do. And ideally when you're looking for mentors, and I've said this in other videos, is you want to look for people who have what you want and they're really good at the skill basically, and they have been where you are. Some mistakes that we do when we're looking for mentors is they were naturally really creative, or they already had a big mentor when they were growing up, so it was easier for them to get started. So you want to start there of like looking for people who are already really good at what it is that you want to be better at, and start following them on social media, start consuming their content, so then you are able to pick up on the small things that they do really well, because then you can start looking at, okay, what are the books that they study, what are the courses, who are their mentors, so then you can follow the same. The next thing that you can do is now, of course, start reading books or taking courses, or just start taking action in learning this skill. So again, this is where having a notice, and again, this is where having a really good note-taking system is really important, because then you can easily switch and jump from different different skills that you're learning, and you can review all of these resources that you went through and be able to easily find what you're looking for. If you're looking for a reference, if you're looking like, hey, how did that one example go again? It's easier for you to find that because, again, you have a good system to look them through. And of course, like I said earlier, the important thing whenever you're learning, and of course, like I said earlier, the important thing when you're learning something new is to make sure that you take action. Now, you might not take action on every single thing that they tell you to do in the course or the book, but to synthesize or to pick and choose which one you want to bring with you moving forward as you finish up with the course or the book. So this could be simply, again, as I was learning on how to become a better YouTuber, I studied a lot of really good people I still look at their videos from time to time, and I've picked up, okay, I want to make sure that I do this in my next video, or I want to make sure that I experiment and do this in the next thing that I do. So then I'm absorbing what I have learned. It's something that's now a part of me, and then I bring into what I do moving forward. And as a bonus tip for you guys, the biggest thing that you can do as you're learning is to experiment and combine. So what I mean by this is, as you're learning how to do this graphic and you've learned how to create this social media post, then you combine that and see what other ways that you can do better, that you can experiment to be able to just keep growing your own skills as a virtual assistant, as a social media assistant, an admin assistant, whatever that looks like for you. Be able to keep improving yourself and growing yourself in that way. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what's the skill that you're currently learning to be able to be a better virtual assistant for your client. Now, if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit subscribe button right there so don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. Now, hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!